Las Palmas, digital nomad dream or disillusionment. Uncover the reality behind Gran Canaria's hidden challenges. After spending a month in Las Palmas, Gran Canaria as a digital nomad, I wanted to give you all the details so you can decide if this Spanish island is the right fit for your remote lifestyle. There's a lot to cover, from costs to the nomad scene to the overall vibe, so let's dive right in. First up, the prices and cost of living situation here. I was really hoping Gran Canaria would be an affordable European destination, but it ended up being more expensive than I expected. For a single digital nomad, the average cost of living is around 1,150 euros per month. That covers rent, food, transportation, and basic expenses. Accommodation was definitely the biggest strain on my budget. Despite tons of listings, finding an affordable yet decent apartment was really tough. I ended up in this place in Vegeta, which was 984 euros per month for a small one-bedroom. But the quality was pretty poor, with paper-thin walls and iffy plumbing. An Airbnb or hotel would have been even pricier at a median of 1,681 euros, or 365 euros respectively. As for other costs, eating out was relatively affordable, with dinner around 10 euros, though groceries were a bit pricey. Grab-and-go items were similar to back home, like €1 for a Coke. Mobile data with around 10 GB was 22 euros per month, which is pretty standard. And don't forget, there's a 7% VAT tax added to most purchases. Getting around wasn't too bad with Uber operating here. An average 3 kilometers taxi trip was around 12 euros. Just watch out for the traffic, which could get pretty hectic and unsafe at times based on what I experienced. Now let's talk about that all-important Wi-Fi situation. I have to say, the internet here was a huge letdown and made remote work really difficult. Despite being told Las Palmas has fast speeds, my connection was super inconsistent and spotty. Even at co-working spaces, which charge around 96 euros per month, the Wi-Fi was unreliable and facilities were subpar. This spot, called the house that was recommended, had comfortable seating, but the internet constantly dropped. That unstable internet, coupled with the poor sound insulation in my apartment, made video calls and meetings extremely challenging. The lack of decent workspaces was really frustrating for someone location-independent like myself. Another disappointment was the local digital nomad community, or lack thereof. The expat scene here seemed really cliquey, with preset groups on apps like Facebook and Slack that were tough to break into as a newcomer. I tried making friends and connections, but never felt fully welcomed or integrated. The saving graces were Gran Canaria's natural beauty and geographic convenience. The beaches were gorgeous, if a bit crowded and touristy. And being in the Canary Islands made traveling to other spots in Europe relatively easy and affordable, with budget airlines like Ryanair operating here. But those pros weren't enough to make up for the lack of a supportive remote work environment, skyrocketing expenses, and challenges building a real community. If I'm being honest, my month in Las Palmas ended up being pretty disappointing and isolating. While the stats make Gran Canaria seem like a digital nomad paradise, with that high GDP per capita and decent marks for safety, freedom, and overall quality of life, my actual experience here was quite different. The island just didn't live up to the hype for me. At the end of my month, I decided to cut my losses and move on. Las Palmas ended up being more hassle than it was worth for this digital nomad. If you do decide to come here, just make sure to set realistic expectations about the costs, lack of community, and some of the daily inconveniences you may face while trying to do remote work on the island.